Alright, so welcome back to Ark Nova Animal Explanations, Part 3. So, we've gone over more than half the animals in this game, but we still have quite a few animals to go over and talk about, so let's get started. Okay, so the first ability here is jumping for this video. So, if you're going to use the jumping ability, you get to advance the break token 2 spaces, and you gain 2 money. Remember, even if there's less than 2 spaces to go before you initiate a coffee break, you're still going to gain 2 money anyways. So just, take note of that. But that's how the jumping 2 ability is going to work. And then this animal here has the exact same ability as the last one, except you move the break token 3 spaces, and you get 3 money. This one has the exact same ability as the cougar. This one has the exact same ability as the last one, except you get to advance the break token 4 spaces and you get 4 money. Okay, that's it for jumping. Okay, next is posturing. With this ability, you may place 1 free kiosk or 1 pavilion for free. Cool, right? And of course, if you're going to place a kiosk, you still have that building requirement that the kiosk has to be 3 spaces away, obviously. But it's your choice which one you're going to place, if you want to place any at all. But that's how posturing is going to work for the lesser bird of paradise. And this one has the exact same ability as the last one. So does this one. And this one has the exact same ability as the last one, except you can do it twice. So you could get 2 kiosks, or 2 pavilions, or 1 of each. It's up to you. And this one has the exact same ability as the last one, but you can get up to 3 kiosks, or 3 pavilions, or, a mix of the 2, right? So that's how the Scarlet Macaw works. And that's it for posturing. Okay, so the Veiled Chameleon has a snapping ability. So you can perform the snapping ability, which is actually sort of an action on the cards. It's on this cards here. You can perform snapping if the cards is actually on number 5, on the 5th tier. But if you want to play this card, it's basically the same ability, except obviously it's just on the animal instead. So you can gain any 1 card from the display. So that's cool. So basically any face-up card you see, you can get 1 of them. Doesn't matter where your reputation is, you're just going to get 1 from the display. So that's how the Veiled Chameleon ability is going to work. And this caiman here has the exact same ability as the chameleon. So does the American alligator. And then the Nile crocodile has the exact same ability as that alligator, but you can do the ability twice. And the saltwater crocodile has the same ability as the Nile crocodile. Okay, so that's it for snapping. Next we have sunbathing. Sunbathing. With this one, you can sell up to 2 cards from your hand for 4 money each. So cards you might not end up using, you could sell them for some money. You can only do up to 2 cards with the Common Gamma, but still, you might have some cards you're not going to use. Or maybe you're planning ahead, you have more cards than your hand limit can handle, and a coffee break is going to be happening anytime soon, so if you play this ahead of time, you could sell those cards instead of having to just simply discard them. You could at least get some money for it if you plan ahead. And the Chinese water dragon has the exact same ability as the common agama. The Ringtailed Lemur has the same ability, except you can sell up to 3 cards. The African spurred tortoise has the same ability as the lemur. The rock monitor has the same ability as the African spurred tortoise. The Australia sea lion has the same ability as the rock monitor. The Galapagos giant tortoise has the same ability as the sea lion, except you can sell up to 4 cards from your hand for 4 money each. And that's it for sunbathing. Okay, scavenging. With scavenging, you can shuffle the discard pile and draw 2 cards from it, and then add 1 card to your hand and discard the rest. So you get to go through the discard pile. You have to shuffle it, of course. You draw 2 cards from the discard pile, and you have to discard 1. This one has the exact same ability as that monitor as well. And then the long-billed vulture has the same ability as the marabou, but instead of 2 cards, you get to draw 3 cards and add one of those 3 to your hand, discarding the others. This vulture has the exact same ability as the last vulture, and the Andean Condor has the same ability as the last vulture, except you can draw 4 cards from the discard pile, adding 1 to your hand, and discard the other 3. And then the king vulture here has the same ability as the condor, except you can draw 5 cards and then keep 1 and discard 4 cards to the discard pile. Okay, and that's it for scavenging. Now we have perception. Perception 4. So this one will allow you to draw 4 cards from the deck, and then you get to add 2 to your hand, and you discard the rest. And the barn owl has the same exact ability as the snowy owl. And the Eurasian eagle owl has the same ability as the barn owl. And the sun bear here. Okay, action association. With this one, after finishing the current action, you may perform the association action. So obviously you're playing this in your zoo and you're actually performing the animal's action right now, because that's what you're doing with the sun bear. You just played it in your zoo. After you do so, you can perform the association action wherever it may be right after. Basically, in a sense, getting 2 actions in a row on your turn, which is cool, right? But it also, you know, it also might depend on where it is. Maybe the association is down here and you can't use it for anything. So it all depends on where it is and if you want to use that ability or not. So definitely you might want to plan ahead. Okay, so this animal has the exact same ability as the sun bear, but instead of letting you play the association action after playing the animal's action, you can play the cards action instead. That's the one you'll be playing with instead if you play the collared manga bee monkey. Okay, so moving on. And obviously the Australian pelican will allow you to play the build action. After playing the animal action, you may perform the build action, okay? If you play the Australian pelican into your zoo, okay? And then, obviously, the Pygmy Hippopotamus will allow you to play the sponsors action after performing, obviously, the animal action and obviously putting this into your zoo. You'll be able to perform and play the sponsors action. Cool, right? Okay, that's it for those types of abilities. Then we still have some interesting abilities here. So here we have Assertion. You may add any one of the unused base conservation projects to your hand. Okay, so base conservation projects, what are those? Okay, well, let me grab them. So, you start the game off randomly with 3 of these cards, okay? The little shield thing on it. You're going to start randomly with 3 of these cards, okay? And then the rest of these cards aren't going to get utilized, okay? None of these cards over here get utilized. You just get stuck with whatever happens to be randomly drawn for the game, which is 3 cards, and if you're playing 4 players, then it's 4 of these, okay? But if you have the white rhinoceros and the Indian or the Indian rhinoceros, if you have one of these 2 animals, you can add any of the unused base conservation projects, meaning you get to then look at the other conservation projects. Obviously, you can add one of these to your hand, and you get to choose. So you get to look through them and decide, ooh, I want the reptiles because I have lots of reptiles, so I'll choose that one. For instance, that's what you get to do if you have the white rhinoceros or the Indian rhinoceros. That's what the Assertion ability is going to do. So that's a really awesome ability for sure. Okay, sponsor magnet for the European bison. Add all sponsor cards from the display to your hand. So if on the board, there will be definitely a few cards face up. If any of them are sponsor cards and you play this card, you get to add all of them that are face up that are sponsor cards to your hand. Whether some of them might be useful and some of them might not be useful for you, but still you get to add them all to your hand. Pretty cool ability. And so the European bison and the muskox, those are the only ones that have this unique ability. Very powerful still nonetheless. Okay, resistance. The African bush elephant and the Asian elephant have the same ability here, resistance. You can draw 2 final scoring cards. You get to keep one of them and discard the other. So that means at the end of the game, you'll have 2 final scoring cards, possibly. Unless you somehow were able to play both elephants, then potentially you could have more than 2, obviously, right? You could have potentially have 3 if you somehow had both of them in your zoo. But the point is, you'll have an additional final scoring card if you get to play one of these elephants and get to play the resistance ability. Cool, right? Cool ability. Okay, we have 2 more abilities left, and there's only one of each of these. Dominance. Dominance. You may add the base conservation project primates to your hand if it is not already in the game. So it's similar to that white rhinoceros, for instance, but instead of getting to choose, if you get to put the primates base card into your hand. Unless it's one of the first 3 or 4 cards that was chosen for the game at the beginning of the game. If it was already there, then obviously you don't get to activate the dominance ability because the primates is already in play. So therefore you wouldn't. So maybe you wouldn't play the proboscis monkey because of that. But if it wasn't, you get to add, obviously, this to your hand. Cool, right? But that's how that dominance ability is going to work. And then the very last ability, peacocking, for the emu. You may place a large aviary for free if possible. Cool. That is powerful. That is very powerful. So you play this and you get to add a large bird aviary for free if possible. That means when it says if possible, when you play this ability emu, you have to have the build. You have to have this build action card already upgraded to the next level. That's what it means, if possible. If you don't have it already, then it's not possible because you don't have access to the large bird aviary yet. But still, that's what that means. And that's a powerful ability, peacocking. One of the best out there for sure. So, that is all of the animal abilities in the game. I hope that helps you out understand all of the different animal cards there is. So don't forget to leave a like for this video and the last 2 videos if you didn't do so already. And I'll see you guys again next time.